Hi, Tim Tucker here from United Way, Central Ohio. This video will go through the steps to register, train, and certify to become a VITA TaxTime volunteer for tax year 2025. You should have received an email such as what I'm showing on my screen here, which includes information about signing up and registering for TaxTime. Included in this email is an attachment which shows all the onboarding steps that you'll need to go through. This video is going to go through all those onboarding steps one at a time. Step one is to complete the tax time volunteer intake form. So I will click on the link in the attachment. It brings me to the file free volunteer form. You'll fill out your name, address, so on, information on your your past positions as you've served and provided, what you'd like to do this year, the volunteer hours that you'd like to spend. And then there's two uploads you'll need to have ready. One is a photo of your ID, typically your license or your state ID. And the second is a selfie, which shows you holding your ID so you can see both your ID and your face. Once you upload those, go ahead and click the I agree and submit, and you'll be all set. Step two is to sign up for tax time trainings in January. If you're a new volunteer, you'll obviously sign up for the new volunteer training, which is an all-day in-person training at Nationwide Children's Hospital. Returning volunteers have two sessions they can sign up for. They're identical on 2 different days. Site coordinator training is a live training, which will be also at Nationwide Children's Hospital. And we have a Zoom training for Ohio tax adders. I would recommend that everybody sign up for that to learn about some of the unique and sometimes confusing things that are needed for Ohio returns. As an example, if I were a new volunteer sign up, I would click on the new volunteers in person training link, which will bring me to an Eventbrite page where I can reserve a spot and give information about myself. And that should do it. Step three is to join our volunteer community on Slack. To do that, we will click on the link for Slack. It will open up a sign up window. Typically, what you'll do is continue with email, follow the prompts, and you will then get access to our Central Ohio Slack. Once you have access to Slack, you should see something like this. I happen to have the Slack application on my computer. You can also open it up in a browser. It's very important that you join Slack. We use Slack to provide updates throughout the tax season of important information. We also will message each other back and forth if we run into problems when we're doing tax returns or have any general issues related to certification or anything else related to the tax season. That's all typically done in the general channel on Slack. There's also the ability to send direct messages to one or more of your VITA colleagues. In addition, on the general channel, we have various resources available up here in these tabs. For example, we have some bookmarks which have some very useful websites to access. We have FAQs on various topics that are pertinent for our work. And we have all the links to training. So the slides that we are using for new volunteer and returning and site coordinator training are up here. We have our signups for the tax time training, a link here. There's also a YouTube channel which has a number of videos, mostly related to Ohio specific tax topics. So again, Slack is a very important part of the work that we do, and I strongly encourage everybody to join and to actively use it. Step four is to create a login to the TaxSlayer Practice Lab. So we'll click on the link here, which brings me to the TaxSlayer homepage. This is the page you will access both the Practice Lab and the actual production software. For now, we're going to click on the Practice Lab link. This is a common password for everybody. The password here is TrainProWeb, all capital letters. At this point, there's a unique login for everybody. This has auto-populated my credentials, but if I were a new user, I would click on the Create Account link. Here I would fill in my email address, a username, and a password. The program type you'll select is VITA, and you will leave the field blank for site identification number. Once you have that, you will go ahead and create the account. At that point, you can then go back and log into the practice lab using your credentials, and you will then go to the page where you can access various trainings that TaxSlayer provides, or you can go directly to the practice area. The practice area is where you will need to create some returns in order to answer some of the questions in the advanced certification test. It's also very useful throughout the season if you want to explore how to do a particular task in TaxSlayer, or how to input a form that you're not familiar with, for example. Step 5 is to create an account on IRS Link and Learn. If you're a returning volunteer, you can use your credentials from last year to log in. Link and Learn is where you'll take your certification tests. It's where you'll print out your 13615 form, which your site coordinator will need. It's also a site where there's some great learning links, training links. So I'll go ahead and click on the Link and Learn link. It brings me to the Link and Learn homepage. You can see here's some links here for training and for certification. If you're a new user, you will click on sign in or create account. Here it's auto-populated my account because I already have an account, but if I were a new user, I would click on create new account, fill in the information, create a password, and click continue, and your account will be set up, and then you can go back and log in. And this is what it would be like to once your account is created, you click on sign in, fill in your email and your password, and now you're in. And later on in this video, we will go through some of the certification tests. Step 6 is to study and prepare for the IRS exams. Everybody needs to take the volunteer standards of conduct. It's actually quite an easy exam. If you're going to be a preparer, you'll also do the intake interview and quality review and the advanced tax law. And of course, site coordinators have to have their own separate tests to take. This section provides links for study materials for each of these tests. There's IRS publications. There's some nice resources out there on the web, which we've posted here. For the advanced tax law, for the new volunteers and returning volunteers, we have training going on. For the new volunteers, there's an all-day training, which I mentioned earlier. The Pub 4012 and the Pub 4491 are also great resources. If anybody has questions while they're training on the tax material or the actual logistics of training, please reach out to me either via Slack or email, and I will respond quickly. Step 7 is to complete the IRS certifications for the Volunteer Standards of Conduct test and the Intake Interview and Quality Review test. All the questions for these tests are in Pub 6744. So you should go to Pub 6744, work through the questions in preparation for taking the test. Once you have all your answers down, we'll go ahead and go to Link and Learn. This is where you previously created an account, so you will sign in. Here I'm logging in. And then we'll click on the link, which is for Take Certification Test. We are going to be taking the advanced track, so I will click on Advanced. And within Advanced, you will see the tests that you need to take. There's the Volunteer Standards of Conduct, the Intake Interview and Quality Review, and this is for a later step in the video, the advanced test. So for example, for the Volunteer Standards of Conduct, I would click on the Start. And it's spinning, waiting for it to complete. Once it comes up, it will, here we go. There'll be another start button to click. And here you will see some instructions, and basically these are all the questions that it will lead you through all the questions on the 6744. So you'll give your answer, click next. At the end, it will ask you to submit, and then it will tell you whether you passed or failed and what your score was. We'll do this for the volunteer standards of conduct test and the intake interview and quality review test. Step 8 is to complete the Advanced Tax Law Certification Practice Test and then complete the real test. So we start by taking the practice test by clicking on the link where it says here. That will bring up the Advanced Test Practice Test. In this test, what you can do is use the answers that you came up with on your 6744 for the Advanced Tax Law test. Input all your answers here. These are the same questions that you'll see on the 6744. And once you're done, you will submit your answer. You'll submit your test. It will tell you which questions you got wrong and give you hints as to what you did wrong. You can take the test as many times as you want. This is not counted against you. And I would recommend that everybody take the test as many times as needed in order to get 100% and understand what they might have gotten wrong on any of the questions. Once you're sure of all your answers, then what you'll do is go back and using Link and Learn, take the real test. And to do that, we will go to Link and Learn, sign in. Go to the Take Certification Test link, go to the Advanced track. And you've already done the intake interview and volunteer standards of conduct. I've actually already taken the tests, so they're not showing up here, but what you would do is click on the Advanced Tax Law test and then input the answers that at this point you know are all correct, and click submit, and then you're done. Step 9 is for site coordinators only. They will complete the site coordinator certification test. I will not show that because I think all the site coordinators know how to do that. Step 10 is to complete the 13615 Volunteer Standards of Conduct Agreement on Link and Learn. To do that, we will go to Link and Learn, sign in, and go to the Volunteer Agreement tab. And on the Volunteer Agreement tab, I've already generated it, but I can regenerate it and sign it again, where it will ask you some questions, such as how many years you volunteered, what your positions are, and if you click on the agree, you can sign the form, the 13615. Then you will download it, which will download a PDF to your PC and save a copy of that. Your site coordinator will need a copy of that for you to volunteer at the site. The final step is to complete the TaxTime volunteer final registration form for tax year 2025. So we'll click on the link and it will bring up the registration form. Much of it is self-explanatory. You will fill in the fields. There are fields for the volunteer position. Most of you will be tax preparers. There is a site preference box. If you know the sites you're going to be volunteering at, you can select that. At the time of this video creation, I don't believe all the sites have been finalized, so I'm just going to, at this point, click on no preference. And there's a few other questions. Since you've already completed your certifications, you will click yes for the intake interview certification and the advanced tax certification and the volunteer standards of conduct certification. If you've completed additional certifications, you can click on those as well. There's also a box to check if you are interested in volunteering at our special events. In this case, the special event listed is Super Saturday, and I would recommend everybody get involved in that. It's just a wonderful event for tax preparation. And there's a few additional questions, such as, are you interested in volunteering after tax day? Finally, you will upload a copy of the 13615 volunteer agreement that you created in the previous step. And once you've got that uploaded, you will click submit and you are done. If you've got questions about anything in this video or anything related to certification or the logistics of the program, feel free to contact me, Tim Tucker, on Slack, or you could send me email at timmythetaxman@gmail.com. Thanks for watching this video.